Okay, this is Rob from Intelligent Irrigation LLC. We're here in South Whittier and we're doing the front and back lawn for Gayle, and she wants to conserve water. Of course, the governor from California has come out with new restrictions. You need to cut 33%, but the AquaJet's going to do more than that. It's going to cut up to 60% of her total water usage in her front and backyard. So we're going to be well within the California governor's restrictions. And let's show you what we've done so far. So come on up here, and you'll see where we started the trench. Being the first trench along here, along the front. So we're coming across the yard. We've got everything trenched in here, and all the trenches where the AquaJet's going to lay. We'll come over here, and we're going to lay the return line that's going to come down here, and it's going to curve over there. And then you come on over here, and I'll show you where we're going to feed the system. As you see, we've got, like I said, all the trenches, and we have our source line right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the valves, and we're going to put the valves back here. We're going to come down this way and come under the bricks here, and we're going to have the feed line. And this is going to be the feed line for the AquaJet, and it's going to come all the way down here, all the way to the curb, and it's going to feed these lines. There's going to be 4 zones. So you're going to have these as zones, 4 of them, 4 valves. It's going to run the whole front yard and the planter over there. So we're doing the front yard. As you'll see, the curvature that comes around over here. And also on this curvature, we're going to come along here with the one-sided AquaJet, and we're going to curve with the driveway, and then we're going to come all the way down there, and we're going to spray this way with the AquaJet, and the AquaJet's going to bowl right along this curve. So we're going to make this trench, we're going to make the curved trench, and the AquaJet's going to curve right with it going around, spraying that way, and that's going to take care of the whole front yard. So we're going to be back with that installation. We're going to show you the crew as they lay it in, and the AquaJet, the valves, and everything else. So that's coming up right now. Okay, so what I'm going to show you right here is one way to do the adapter, which is to line it straight up. Now you caught me working red-handed. So what we're going to do is, there's a lot of different ways to line this up, but what you want to do is get it straight up and down, which you already know. But sometimes when you glue this and you stick it in, you don't have a lot of time to turn it and get it straight. So what you can do is this. I'm going to lift this up a little bit. As you see, we got a 1-inch pipe going into a 1-inch coupler that came into the 1-inch PVC for the adapter. So I'm going to glue this, and I'm going to barely stick it in there, as you'll see. So I'll put the glue around here, and then some glue in here. And then what I want to do is watch me just barely stick it in like that. And now I want to line it up, because it gives me a lot more time to line it up, and I'm not stuck. Okay, so now that I know I'm straight up and down, now I can just get it and push it in. So if I tried to do it the other way by sticking it in and then turning it and lining it up, it would have locked in with the PVC, and it probably would have locked in on an angle and crooked. But if you just barely stick it on there like so, that gives you enough time to mess around and get it straight up and down. Then when you get it straight up and down where you want it, just push it in there like so, and then you get it like this, which is straight up and down, which is going to keep the spray parallel. So we just wanted to show you that little trick. Just barely put it in, you can tune it in, then push it in, and that should give you enough time before the glue dries. So we'll be back with more of the installation of the AquaJet in the front yard. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm prepping some of the AquaJet by putting one coupler on one end, because it's a little easier to do it this way. So what I do is, you see that I glued it up, put that on, and put it down and lean on it, and it goes right in all the way without having to force it and push it. So what I do is I put one of these on each of the ends of the AquaJet, so it speeds up the installation a little, makes it a little easier. So you see I got some ready right here. So I'll show you one more time. What we're doing, I got a little cardboard in case we spill the glue. Take some of that glue off that gets on there, and then you kind of put a light coat around the AquaJet. And you get the coupler just on the bottom of the coupler and the sidewalls. Okay. Then you put it on, turn it upside down, and then let your weight do the rest, just like that. And it's in, and then we're going to put this in the lines in the AquaJet, and we'll show you that right now. We'll continue with the installation and show you how we're putting this in line. We'll be right back with that. Okay, here we are now, and we just about got everything laid in. We got the valves over there, and we're getting ready to flush everything. So we want to show you what we got right here. The valves are down the way there, and the feed line is coming out here on one of them. So we got the feed line coming in to the valves right there, and then one coming back to feed the AquaJet here. And as you see, we're coming twisting around as we go. And then we crossed over with the one-sided, and now we have a one-sided spray as we're coming down here, and we're going to come all the way down to the end of the driveway with our one-sided spray. And we also have the ends, the return line is already pre-made. I made it up, see how I got these nice and straight, so we're going to put it on each end after we flush it. So here's what we got going right now. All the lines are set. They're ready to flush. As you can see, we got them propped up out of the trench, and the reason you prop them up out of the trench is because you don't want any of the water to backflow back into it when you turn it off. So you need to prop them up to flush it. So now we're going to flush it. We're going to hook up the last valve, and then we're going to test the system. And after we test it, we bury it. So we're going to come back right in just, well, actually we'll come back in just a few minutes, show you the valves, and then we'll show you the flush and then the test run. Okay, here's where we have the valves. We got 5 valves that come in. Right there, you'll see the hot line right over there feeding in to each valve. And we got 5 valves coming out and coming down under the bricks to the feed line. And this is the feed line to the AquaJet. As you see, it comes out of the bricks from the valves, under, over, and all the way down. As you see, it's feeding the AquaJet. So we're going to take a long trip here, coming down the feed lines. You see it comes up, comes down, and then we'll return. Okay, so we're ready to flush the system now. We're going to activate it through the valves and flush it.
I guess it's probably the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to test fire a zone. We lifted it up out of the trench so you can see when we test fire it. You can also check out the holes with this, and it's right here. So you'll see we propped it up out of the trench. And this is zone number 2. So we're going to run this zone right now and show you what the test fire looks like before we get ready to put it back in the trench, bury it, and call it a day. So we'll be back with that. Okay, test fire, zone number 2. Here we go. Okay, so what we did now is we flushed zone 2 so you can see what that looked like out of the trench. And now we're going to button up the rest of the zones, because what we did is we put the end pieces on them. That's the return line, and that's the last thing we did. Then we had to fire it up to make sure all the holes were working. All the holes were firing really good in zone number 2, and so the only thing left to do is test the rest of the zones. And one last thing we have to do is put the crossbar in here, the return line. And as you see, this one's going to end up being like the last one. We're going to use a flexible piece in the middle so we can snake it like that. So one end could be here, one end could be there, and you have a snake with a flexible PVC. So all we have to do is lock in that. You see this one right here, I'll explain this one. This one comes along the edge for the rose bushes. It's a one-sided spray. And then we cross over right here, and right here we transition into a two-sided spray, because the two-sided spray is now going to get this area over here and this area over here. So we bend it around over here and we bring it right to the feed line. Right over here on this one, we put one little extra trench with an end cap, and you'll see where we crossed over right here with the T. What we did is we're coming down this line, we tapped into this line with the T right here, brought over with some AquaJet right there, and then another one to run down the middle, so we got all the areas covered. So now the only thing left to do, like I said, is we got to put this last end piece on, test the rest of them, and then we're going to move to the backyard to do that installation. But for right now, Gayle is set up to save a lot of water and to be within the restrictions of the California governor, where you have to cut 30%. So she's going to be well within that with the AquaJet. So we're going to come back and show you what it looks like when it's all covered up, and then move to the back for another video. Okay, so now that we're finished with the front yard, we wanted to show you our finished product. Remember we trenched with the trencher, trenched it 4 to 5 inches deep, laid in all the PVC.